Hi, it's Elaine with MCPS Technology. Let's finish up our series on Google Sites by talking about some of the most exciting features. How can I bring in videos and other Google Tools elements and docs? This is one of the best things about sites. So our homepage is getting a little crowded, so let's choose a different page to put some information on. I'm going to go to my subpage under biology called videos because I want to insert some videos. It's super easy to do, and actually Sites is one of the best places for you to make a repository for your videos because they come up and run without any ads. And for teachers, this is a wonderful thing. It's super easy, like I said. All I have to do is click over here where it says YouTube. And so that will bring up for me a search box. If I already know the URL or web address to the video I want, I simply have to click it in here or paste it in here using Control V. In this case, since we're just practicing, I'm going to search. I'm going to search for a video on cells. Obviously, as a teacher, I would never show a video that I hadn't previewed myself, but because we're just practicing, I'm going to choose the first video that comes up and select it. Just like that, it comes into a section on my page in a nice little thumbnail all ready to play. I have some settings here, so you'll want to check those and make sure they show what you want. And I'm going to bring in another video really quickly just to show you how easy it is to move these around also. So I'm just going to type in cells again and then choose the second video that comes up. Select it, bring it in. So by default, it will come into the next section on the page. However, just as with images, if I want to move that, it's as simple as pulling it up here and just dropping it. And now my two videos are side by side. Super easy, like I said. Also, you can bring in calendars in a very easy fashion. So if I click on calendar, it shows me all of my Google calendars. I'm just going to insert my main calendar, and by default it will come in agenda mode, but I can click on the settings button and then I can place it in either week or month mode. So you got lots of choices here. It's equally as easy to bring in a Google map. If I wanted to bring in a map for Christiansburg High School, I would simply type that into the map interface and it will bring it in just like it did the calendar. But I'd like to spend a little bit more time looking at bringing in different kinds of docs. So let's go to a different page because this one's getting kind of crowded. And I'm going to click on Docs. It will bring me to my drive and I can go to either list mode or I can look at different thumbnails of my document. So it's just really whichever you prefer. It's going to show you your recent files, but you can also search your drive if you need to. I'm going to double click on the skills checklist for Google Certified Educator and just bring in that random document. Notice it only shows me part of the document, but I could stretch this out if I wanted to show the entire document. Another thing I can do is simply pull this in to kind of make it into a thumbnail. Oh, that's a little bit small. Don't want it quite that small. But since we're just practicing, if I click on it, notice, and the end user will have this option to open it in a new tab. So that's why it's okay to just place the thumbnail there if I want to. I'm bringing it up in a new tab because this is important for me to check my sharing settings. If my sharing settings are not correct, the person trying to get to this document will not be able to see it if it's only owned by me but not shared properly. All they will see is you need permission. The tricky thing is it'll look okay to me because I actually own the document. But once I bring it up, I can go to the sharing settings. If I hover over this, I can actually see that anyone with the link can access it. But let's say this wasn't shared properly. All I would have to do is click on the sharing settings, then click on the word advanced, and then change it. So that would be really important for me to do every time I place a document into my website so that I will know that people who are trying to get to my documents can actually get there. So that's how easy it is to bring in a Google Doc. I want to show you Google Slides because you have some extra options whenever you bring in a slide presentation. Here I've brought up my slides and I'm just going to randomly choose one that I know is properly shared and watch how it comes in. So it comes in a nice thumbnail, but here's the cool part. I can go to these settings and I can actually have this slide presentation auto start, loop, and I can change how long each slide stays up. And so then what happens is when someone comes to this page, the slide presentation will automatically run. It's a very cool thing. So I think you're going to want to use that feature. Now, just like with docs and slides, I can bring in sheets, I can bring in forms, and my respondents can actually fill them out right on the screen, or they can open them in a new tab. I can bring in charts from sheets. And so there's pretty much an endless supply of things I can do from my Google Drive. The final thing I want to show you how to bring in before we publish is a shared folder. One of the quickest ways to bring in lots of information at the same time is by using a shared folder. I can do that from Drive. So if I click on my main menu here under Insert, from Drive, it takes me to my Drive. It will show me my folders first. So for example, if I wanted to share my Screencastify folder, I could simply click on it and then click Insert. I know it's a shared folder, and so that means my respondents or the people coming to my website will be able to get to it. And notice how it brings it in a nice list that I can enlarge so that they can see every file. So that's a fast way to bring in lots of information. Wow, we've covered a whole lot here. So let's do the last thing, which is when I'm ready to publish, I'm ready for the world to see my site, I can simply click on this blue button, but I've got some choices to make. Now, it's going to depend on your domain. Our domain, by default, makes it so that anyone at our school system can see the site, but I can change that. Before we look at that, let's look at the name. So what Google will do is apply a name to your site, an address. It will make the name of the site part of the address. You can actually change this part if you want to. And then, of course, it will add the domain information into the address. If I want people other than my school system to be able to see this site, I click on Manage. And then I go to this Published area, click on Change, and I click here. I want the whole world to be able to find and view my site. Notice that I can choose for only specific people, and this is kind of a good option if you're working with students. Maybe they want to build a site for you, but they only want their teacher to see it. And so it's good to know that you have options. I'll save the option I want, then click Done, and then I'm ready to click Publish. It's publishing my site. Until I publish my site, it's not visible to anyone but me or maybe people I'm collaborating with to write the site. Once it says my site is published successfully, I can click this down arrow and I can view my published site. I can also unpublish my site or check my publish settings. So now I'm on the internet. I'm at Practice Site 1. Here's my pages. Wow, I just made a website. That's Google Sites. I know you're going to love using this tool.